Welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this, my friends, is the Stunner Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program, and sometimes the saliva just gets up in there and ruins an intro. And the reason the saliva is there is, there's cheese up in here. And so I'm excited about that. That was a funny intro. I'm sure that will be part of some sort of, compilation episode, right? Crozes-Hermitage, the largest AOC in the Northern Rhone, a wine that is predominantly made from Syrah, the only red wine that is allowed to be put into Crozes-Hermitage is Syrah. Up to 15% of white wine can be put into Crozes-Hermitage, Marsanne and Roussanne, but normally not. For example, both of our Crozes-Hermitage wines today are 100% Syrah. The Northern Rhone, Côte-Rôtie, Hermitage, these places are making some of the finest wines in the world. And I truly do believe that Crozes-Hermitage, if you've ever seen this word, is still one of the most value-driven places in the world. A part of the Rhone that you can still get value. First designated in 1937, expanded in 1952. This is a place that produces about 8 million bottles a year, over about 3,200 acres. And I'm quite fond of this part of the world. And I'm excited about tasting these two, one from an estate that has an enormous tradition and one from a much, much, much smaller house. So let's start with the smaller house. The Domaine Maxime Chomel, 2005, which is a great vintage in the Northern Rhone. Crozes-Hermitage, this is $20 US, and this is a very small estate, 100% Syrah, and I'm excited about trying this. Now, also, because now we have Gourmet Library Mott, you've seen Justin and Everett and crew running around, we have a cheese here today. This is the Tuma Persa, and this comes from Sicily, made from cow's raw milk, and we'll be tasting both wines with this as well. You want a cheese that has some spiciness that can keep up with the Syrah-based wines. And, Mott, let's link up this cheese. I'll give you a link. And link that up. And for all you maniacs that live in states that we can't ship wine to, good news. Gourmet Library food, anywhere. Mass, come on out. Michigan, come see me. Maryland, come roll with us. Ooh, the M's are bad. Maryland, Mass, and I've never made that connection. So yes, if you buy gourmet cheese and gourmet food, olive oils, things of that nature, caviar, I'd love for you to check out Gourmet Library. Might link that up, just a global site, and check that out. So we'll be integrating more food this year for sure, and let's give it a sniffy sniff. The first thing you'll notice, and Matt, I have to have you smell this, because this is unbelievable to me. The thing I always think about Crozes-Hermitage is black pepper. This wine smells exactly like black pepper. Do you pick that up? No, huh? Wow, really? God, it's real no black pepper for you, huh?
No.
What did you pick up?
More, I smell more berries.
Well, it definitely has fruit, but I guess for my palate, or not my palate, my nose, I'm really a big fan of pepper, and I pick it up dramatically. I'm surprised, really, as you can see how much, I'm like, Mott, I have huge confidence. But different palates, different noses, pick different things. I do get a great raspberry component on this nose, but the black pepper really dominates the day for me. There's a little bit like shriveled up, like dry cranberry flavors as well, but I think this wine really has a big nose, and the spiciness of the black pepper pops for me. Let's give it a whirl. Good intensity, good fruit, sweet, kind of like structured black berries, raspberries, a little more red. I apologize. A little bit of a nice pepper kick on the back end. And all in all, a pretty focused wine for 20 bones. This is a very truthful wine at $20. And I think that is something that more people need to recognize. I think there's a lot of artificial, handmade, created by human, robotic type wines in the marketplace. And to me, this really shows its terroir. It's true, it's real, it's its thing. And I like it. I like the black, dark pepper that I'm getting through on this wine. And I really enjoy The round, luscious strawberry meets raspberry with a hint of like dried cranberry flavor. I'm going to try the cheese next, and we're going to review them all. Paul Jabelet, Crozes-Hermitage, Domaine Raymond Rohr, 92 points. Josh Reynolds, $30 US, 100% Syrah. Let's go there. Paul Jabelet makes some of the premium wines in this whole area. Their Hermitage has long been sought after and collected. This is their Croz. Again, 30 US bones. Not crazy expensive. Not inexpensive. But again, for Northern Rhone fruit, Syrah can be quite interesting. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. Now this one kind of comes across a little earthy. There's some soil action, some dirt, you know, maybe like some farm animals played around and left, but not poop. This is not a Menor Burgundy thing. There's a little creaminess coming through on the nose as well, kind of like a raspberry torte. So it's like the raspberries, but a little bit of that cream cheese and thing going on. Subtle nose, little pepper that I picked up on the last one, but nowhere close as much. So for you, Mod, it would be non-existent. Let's give it a whirl. Different kind of wine here. Much more mellow than the last wine. 04, different kind of vintage. 05, a little bit bigger, but still structured in a nice way. I like the backbone of this wine. It's very polished and silky, which I think will appreciate, will allow for a lot of people to appreciate it. It's got a silkiness and a really long finish. Well made. Kind of funny though, a little bit more hollow than I expected. As a matter of fact, I'm slightly disappointed in this wine. I find it to be a wine that lacks the structure that I look for in this area and really kind of almost thin. I'm going to give it one more shot. Nice. You know, ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Like, if a guy's nice, you know, no edge. Not like the monster. Rugged raw, baby. I'm baffled. As many of you know, I'm a big fan of Josh Reynolds, but I don't see eye to eye on this wine with him at all. I'm going to score this wine 86 plus points and give it a major pass with 4 Z's. I just don't see it. I don't feel it. I don't like it. Now, let's taste this with the cheese. This is the Tuma Persa. That's sharp, Mop. Ooh, there's the spiciness in the back end. Chalky and creamy. Well made. All right, let's see what happens if the fat from the cheese can do something for the palate. Oh, it sure can. It can expose this wine. This wine is exposed. 86 by itself, 83, 82 with food. This cheese is so big, it dwarfs the wine. And that thinness, that thing I was worried about, in a weird way, this almost tasted like water to me just now. Just not a good combo in any way. And the wine is a little bit more thin maybe than I even give it credit for. I just don't see it. By the way, quick little side note. Any of you guys watching the sports documentaries on ESPN 30 for 30? They're unbelievable. Mott, have you seen any of these? They're really, really good. All right, now back to the Chomel. Going to review it officially. Yeah, why not, right, Mott? Just a better wine. A little more interesting than the last wine. Not incredibly profound in its own right, though. I'm going to go 88 plus on this wine. 89. Let's go 89. Let's go 89 in this. Let's go 85 minus on the Paul Jabelet. Just not feeling that at all. Now, let's see what happens with the cheese. I think the Tuma Persa, Mott, is going to get like a 90, and the other two... I like the spiciness. I have the feeling this is a little bit of a better combo. Yeah, and it is. The backbone and structure of this wine, that darkness and that real tannins that really drives this wine home, really shows its merits when you pair it with food. A far more interesting wine with the cheese that in your mouth, you're getting the complexities of the cheese and the wine coming together and creating this great little complex concoction. Have you ever had a complex concoction? It's a good situation. And this really elevates where wine and cheese come together, wine and food comes together, and really elevates not only the wine, but even the cheese. It becomes a much more interesting. It's really quite fascinating how this cheese completely dismantled this wine and overpowered it and said, get the heck out of here. And with this wine kind of really worked together. Real difference. Not that I was overly enthusiastic about this wine by itself, but definitely a far bigger compliment when you pair it with the cheese. A good combo. And really, if you've never had Crozes-Hermitage for $20 US, this is a wine you need to go out, find, seek, and sought after, and try it. The cheese is awesome, by the way. If you're a cheese fan, and again, Mott, let's link that up. Really, really nice stuff. Anyway, question of the day. Question of the day. What is your favorite cheese? And if it happens to be on Gourmet Library, link it up. I've got a reason. You! With a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world, whether they like it or not.